Well, I think people think you just wake up in the morning and you can sing, and you just wake up and you know the music and you can bring it to life. But it's, that's not the case. The case is that we work really hard. We work years, in fact, to perfect our techniques, to master the languages, and I think it would be nicer if audiences were more interested in discovering about singers' techniques and really knowing the difference between somebody who sings with a technique that really brings out the best qualities of their voice, or somebody who just kind of sings and it doesn't have the same impact. Basically, I'm saying if you sing with a microphone, then you haven't maybe mastered the technique yet. I studied in South Africa for 5 years at the University of Cape Town, and then I came over to London, and I've been at the Royal College for 3 years, and I've just graduated from there. I didn't know it. What I did was I bought the score. I always highlight first and write in the translations, and listen to it a few times on recordings and YouTube and things like that. And then sat at the piano and taught the notes to myself. And something that I also do as part of the process is I syllabize the language first. So I break the words up into syllables and say them in a monotone sort of fashion, and then eventually in phrases, so that you get the language naturally, get the rhythm of it. Prepared the music for about 2.5 weeks, which is not that long really, but I think what takes the time is getting the German, around your tongue, putting the notes into your voice so that it does sound effortless. But it just depends. I mean, it was only really 10 minutes of singing, so I didn't think I needed more than 2.5 weeks to prepare it. I took it to a German coach and my singing teacher, obviously, and we worked through it, and any little areas where they felt that it wasn't quite natural, idiomatic, then we worked on those and got them sort of finely tuned. I listened to a lot of recordings by people with slightly different voices, so people like Renee Fleming and Kiri Tekanoa, Christine Schaefer, who is German. I listened to a few mezzos who had sung it, and I think that they were all slightly older, so they were all trying to attain this sort of childlike quality, and perhaps because I'm still quite young in comparison to when they recorded it, I probably didn't have to work as hard to attain that kind of quality in the voice, because it is still lighter and younger. So I think from that point of view, I didn't try to copy anybody. I just tried to sing with my own voice, and just tried to bring out the words that were colourful to me and that made the piece interesting. I sing all the languages, but I think I enjoy singing in German the most, actually. I think it's just such a colourful language. And I think also because I come from South Africa, I guess it's not exactly the same as Afrikaans, but it has some similarities, and it kind of feels more natural, really, than French or Italian. Vasily is so lovely and so easy to work with, that he immediately puts you at ease. But if you're with maybe somebody who's a little less friendly, it can be very terrifying. But I do find that the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic are very voice friendly. They kind of give you the space to allow your voice to sing. And it's not like a metronome or something like that. He said to me that the music is, you have to sing it like it's Mozart, but it has to have the expression of Wagner. So he wanted lots of line and legato and things like that. And I think just watching him as a conductor, he's so clear. You never feel alone. You don't feel like you're just waiting for something to happen, or you're relying on your own ability to dissect the music. Because when a piano is so rhythmic, and then when you get with when you're with the orchestra, there isn't the same pulse. I believe that Mahler wrote all his songs that were to be sung by a male character. So it must be a little boy who's singing about heaven and how wonderful it is, how there's no turmoil, We don't have the earthly worries that you have on earth. And basically he talks a lot about food and how there's an abundance of food, and they slaughter lambs left, right and center, and oxen, and there's every type of vegetable you can imagine, and the wine flows freely. So I think obviously he must like his food very much. I think the last section where he talks about how the music in heaven, you can't even compare it with anything that you hear on earth, is just so beautiful and charming, and something that everybody can identify with, I think, because when you do hear something that's heavenly, then you do kind of forget about all your worries, and it does feel like you've gone to paradise for a little bit. I was a little worried that you may not be able to hear me, but he said that it's meant to just sort of come out of nowhere. It's supposed to be a little bit of a surprise or something, and I think it definitely works. It's so wonderful to be part of the orchestra for a change, and instead of something maybe slightly removed. I think when you stand at the front, even though you are with the orchestra, you're not really. It's more about you, and the piece is not about the singer. It's about the symphony, so you have to be part of that, and you have to be able to blend in, I think. I think I approach everything with the same sort of idea, that I'm playing pictures, I'm creating pictures for the audience. Even if you're playing a role, I think you still have to be talking about pictures, otherwise it doesn't become real for anybody. As a character, you are you're assimilating somebody else's characteristics and giving them life. And I think the same goes for music like this, because it's a real person's vision of something. So it has to be real, and it has to be done with pictures in your own mind, vivid ones, I think, anyway. If you're doing songs or something that can involve the audience, if you've been directed by somebody to say, no, we want you to talk to the audience, we want you to speak to them, then I think you have to try to incorporate everybody. But I think it really works if you just put up the fourth wall as well, and you're just totally in the character. People are drawn to that as well. Sometimes it's you get a better response from the audience if you allow them to come to you than going to them.